Okay, so today is one of the most beautiful days we've had in a long time here, and it's actually the first official day of being over 80 degrees. Now, we've had 70 degrees, 75 degrees, 78, and stuff like that, but today is actually the first official day that we've been over 80 degrees here in, well, at least Northern California. Not sure about other areas of California, but I've been out here for about 45 minutes. I've just been trying to play around with my A7 III here with the new features, the intervalometer, the time lapse. You know, people make time lapses out of. So that's basically what I have planned for today. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing today besides trying to make time lapses and trying to figure that whole system thing out. So the first time I actually tried it, I made a 3-second video and it was terrible because I had no clue how to do it. So I figured, what better way to figure out how to use the new intervalometer I'm just gonna say time lapse feature. What better way to use the time lapse feature is to actually get out here. It's nice and beautiful outside, and try to put some time lapses inside of this video. Okay, so I've been out here for several hours now, and I really don't understand why anyone would, for a YouTube video, make a time lapse through the intervalometer or the picture style. That's ridiculous. Like, it takes me 45 minutes to make a 30-second time lapse, but I can use a GoPro Hero 7. 5 minutes in 4K will get me a 30-second video time lapse, and it's actually already an actual video. So I don't know if I'll be using that feature on the A7 III anymore. It's just more efficient. Like, the GoPro Hero 7, perfect. I can shoot a time lapse in 4K, apply it to a 4K sequence in Premiere Pro. Heck, even my G7X Mark II can do a 1080p time lapse, even though it's not very good. But for time's sakes and being more efficient, I think I would stick to this. I'm not gonna waste my time 45 minutes to an hour to do a time lapse for a YouTube video. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, plus I spent like 2 hours talking to a gentleman today while I was doing a time lapse, so it wasn't that bad, but just a waste of time, in my opinion. Okay, so I didn't want to leave this video like that. The whole point that I'm trying to make about the new feature of the A7 III here is the time-lapse feature. It wasn't worth the update, just in my opinion. Now, a lot of people out here will tell you that it's an awesome feature, and for some people it is. If you are a professional filmmaker and stuff like that, it might be worth your time. But for me, this is way better to make a time lapse. I can shoot a 4K time lapse. It takes me 5 minutes to make a time lapse on this versus 45 to 50 minutes on this A7 III. It's not efficient. I spent 2 hours trying to make a time lapse. 2 time lapses. It took me over 2 hours. Literally over 2 hours to make 2 time lapses. It's not efficient. This cheap this cheap G7X Mark II, I can do a time lapse in 1080p. 5 minutes gets me 30 seconds worth of time-lapse video. Doesn't make a lot of sense to sit here and give me a feature like that when I can use a cell phone and take a 4K time-lapse. So, in my opinion, it's definitely more efficient to use one of the 3 here for a time-lapse and just put it inside one of your projects. But, you know, that's me as a YouTuber. Time is all about efficiency, in my opinion, being efficient with all the time that you have. And well, the 2 hours that I took to do 2 different time lapses, and that doesn't even include editing the time lapses and putting it in Photoshop, fixing, you know, color grading, and then transferring it into Premiere Pro, and then creating the time lapse out of it, a video. Like, that doesn't even include that. So, but in all 3 of these products that I've just showed you, the GoPro Hero 7, the G7X Mark II, and your iPhone, they're all video, and they're just as good. They're actually good enough to put inside any video. So if you wanted to do something for me, Sony, give me 1080p at 100 megabits per second. This iPhone does 1080p at 90 megabits per second. Better, 1080p, same thing. Like, give me features that I can actually use. That's not gonna be just something I use on occasion. Give me a better video quality for 1080p. Like, I'm resorting to shoot 4K because I can get 100 megabits per second and downsample to 1080p. But why not just give me 1080p at 100 megabits per second? Why not give me 4K at 60 frames per second? I think those are the features that I'm looking for. So anyways, to each his own, and you guys have a good day.